All right. And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I am your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson, and I'll be bringing you all of tonight's top vibe stories. Tonight's top vibe stories as well as last night's top vibe stories, because one vibe story is that my local internet was down yesterday, coincidentally at the same time that we had a big spike in the Schumann resonances. So very interesting timing on that. Let's go ahead and I gotta add my camera, get my other pages visible here, because we want to go ahead and dive right into our volcano update. How y'all been? I hope that you make it. I know I'm a few hours late, but I had to go do my worky work. Haley's here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and talk about our volcano update. Get this all situated correctly. I've been trying to figure out how to do the Streamlabs plugin where I can show my chat box on screen, but for some reason it just doesn't want to show up. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I don't know what I'm doing wrong to not have my chat box on screen, but I gotta study more. Okay, let's see. Volcanoes today. This is more of the ASMR version because it is so late in the evening that I can't wake up my roommates / parents. So I have to do some sultry whispering. All right, it looks like we've got Mount Kamchatka still erupting. Karimsky looking like a eruption to flight level 200. We got Mount Ibu continuing to explode. Powerful eruptions. Yet another impressive column of ash erupted from the cinder cone. I think this is the new Hornado from Ibu. No, this is the Ertaal volcano. Oh, from Ethiopia, in the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia. The Ertaal. We've got new lava flow from. Okay, so this is one of the only separating plate boundaries on land in the world. So that's really interesting because this is in East Africa. This is one of the only spreading plate boundaries. See it on land. So that's really cool. We got a new flow from Hornado, not just a brand of tequila, Hornados. Lewitobi continues to explode, as does Samiru and Ducono and Nevado del Ruiz. Reventador observed on webcam, and yeah, Ertaal Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. A new lava effusion phase began at the volcano following another shifting flux of magma. The lava resumed in the northern pits craters Hornado recently, generating the lava overflow to the southwest of the main lava source. The lava continues to spill outwards towards the southwestern crater rim, currently approximately 240 meters long. Let's see what happened yesterday. Sorry I wasn't here yesterday. Again, my local internet went out after Monday night's lively broadcast. No coincidence there. We went over all of this on Monday. Let's go. 26th. Anything new? Mount Kamchatka. Ibu, Lewitobi, Lewitolo. Oh, we got a new hazard map for Lewitolo volcano. It looks like we've got an exclusion zone that is radiating out on their southeastern flank of the peak. And then these are, I believe, different flow channels that could occur. And then this is the lava extension forming the new pancake-like shape. I like that it's a pancake shape, even though pancakes are not a distinguishing shape. Here's Sabankaya on volcano imagery, so we can see those puffs. Home reef in Tonga Islands, effusive eruption of the volcano continues. The lava flow continues to feed the new pancake-like lava delta on the east, enlarging the island's size, as detected. Satellite sent Ruiz were exploding and Sabankaya. So there's our volcanic update. Let's go. Actually, I'm going to stay on this website and see our earthquakes, because first we're going to look at Earthquake 3D, but I do want to look at the locally recorded quakes on volcanoes today. Oh, one of our most recent quakes is this 2.2 in Hawaii, so let's start there. Looks like we had a 3 in Hawaii, 3.2. 3.2 at 44 kilometers depth. Let me actually expand my time so that I get yesterday's as well. Looks like that 3 was today, so we increased towards the 3. Up here in the Aleutian Island chain, it's no surprise that we had a 3 down in a 3.2 down in Hawaii. 0.8. We had some pretty high range 4s here on the peak of the crest of the Aleutian Island chain, including a 3.3 and a 3.9. These are all fairly deep as well. The 3.9 being at 174 kilometers depth. Then if we look, we had a surface 2 up here in northern Alaska. Let's take these quake ring sizes down so I can see. And also take this up to like 2s. So not too many 2.0 and higher, a lot of tremor level quakes in Hawaii. As we move down the coast, look at that big old stack from the geysers. Again, Geysers, California, having a 3.3. A 3.3 at 1 kilometer's depth down there in the Geysers, California. 2.0, we've got multiple 1s. I can already tell you this is the geysers without looking, because that is the place where we see down here near LA again. We've got the Nevada, California coast border. We've got a 2.9s through 2.0s, all at relatively shallow depths. So it looks like we also had another 2.9 in LA proper. That's at 10 kilometers depth, and that was on the 24th. Then 2.3, 2.8. It's just growing, and then if I turn on the lower quakes, we see all the other tremors, aftershocks, really heavily populated here. Utah and the Yellowstone region also have been quite active recently, though in the lower magnitudes. West Texas, as always, has a bit of a heavy-duty stack. They're getting all the way to 2.7s. Central Texas also looking a bit like a West Texas stack with lots of 2.4s, 2.0s, 2.6. And then Oklahoma also heating up with their tremor level quakes, but also including a 2.3. A 1.6 out there in northern Arkansas, 3.1. Oh no, that's in Mexico. I was going to say only one's down here in 4.9 out here on that's not the Nazca plate, that's the Wanda Fuca plate, I think. Revilla Gigetto Islands region. We got 3.3, 3.6, 4.1, 3.5, lots of 3.5s. This has become pretty typical to see in Mexico this year. And they are looking relatively shallow. Turn those quake sizes back up. All right. Very hot region here on Mexico's border. In Colombia, is that? Yeah. That is at 30 between DR and PR. We got 3.9, some 3s and 2s up here. A lot of energy in this area, considerably. A lot of it. And then we also had a 4.6 this time is this one in Peru? Yeah, near Zapatero, Peru. Then where we continue on down in Chile and Argentina, we've got these 4.9s at 35 kilometers depth, 4.6s, 4.2s, all popping off. This 4.6 in Argentina was like pretty deep at 219 kilometers depth. Then as we get down towards the South Sandwich Islands, we had our favorite thing of a stack of a surface 5 and a deep 5, 5.1 and 5.0 on these South Sandwich Islands. Then right at the tip of the South Sandwich Islands, we saw 4.6 at 10 kilometers depth. Yeah. Then as we make our way, we did have a mid-Atlantic ridge quake. We had a 4.7 at, you guessed it, 10 kilometers depth. Then up here north of Iceland, we had a stack of 4s, a considerable stack of 4s, a 4.7, 4.4s, 4.1, all at 10 kilometers depth. Not saying anything, I'm just saying. 4.2 here, looking like the east of France or near, that's on a border region. Where is this? Okay, it's registering in Germany, really close to the Swiss and French borders, near that triple point of France, Germany, and Switzerland. This 4.2 at 10 kilometers depth. Then we've got our regular Greek stack of quakes. Looks like we've had, a 4.7 and a 4.1, 3.0s and 3.1s. Really like hundreds of, almost 100 quakes close to the tremor level. Another Turkish quake. We all at 10 kilometers depth. You guessed it. The Ertaal volcano, that's right down here. Then in the Afghanistan, Tajikistan border region, we got some mid-range 4s all coming in at deep 4.3 at 131, 4.5 at 193, and 159. Then in Bangladesh, we got a 4.6, 4.7 here, and 4.3 out in China, 5.6 right here near Indonesia, a 4.5 right next to that. That 5.6 was, again, at 10 kilometers depth. Here in the Philippines, we got a 4.8 at 10 kilometers depth, and a 4.4 at a deep 4.4 at 235 kilometers. Then as we get into near Papua New Guinea, we're looking at 4.2 and a 4.7, 4.9, 4.6. These are all relatively shallow. 5.3 and a 5.9, that's almost a 6. The 5.9 comes in at 110 kilometers depth. Then Australia is heating up again with a 3.2, 3.0, 2.0, 3.4, all over the place. They are getting more and more earthquakes in Australia, and a lot of these are surface quakes. It's quite interesting what's happening over there. Got a 5.1 as we're getting into the Vanuatu Islands, 192 kilometers depth, a 4.6 at 79 kilometers depth, a 4.8 at 547 kilometers depth. I think that is in the Fiji region. 4.7 at 529, right next to it. 5.1 at 10 kilometers. That's out near the tip. 5.4 and 5.1. Okay, right. 4 is the SIR 5.1. So I clicked something wrong. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Then as we get up here at the top of the Philippine plate near Japan, near Tokyo, we got 4.0. At a 4.0, that's really deep. Island chain. Which you want? Oh shit, I got off the stream again. I'm sorry. I don't know how long that was happening. Sometimes my computer just has a mind of its own. Let's go look at our atmospheric weather now. Did I do that? Yeah, I did that. Okay. So if you didn't hear yesterday, there was a meteo tsunami on Lake Michigan. We'll get to that headline in a second. But today, what we've got is a nice, more classical summertime system setting up in the East Coast. Finally, this is looking like a normal summertime map again. This is what you'd expect to see. Some isolated severe thunder showers down in the deep south, with a quasi-linear convective. So, well, I wouldn't even call this a QLCS. This is just a front. This is a cold front moving in, even though it doesn't feel cold. It's like warm, but it's relatively a cold front, causing a lot of power outages here through Pennsylvania. I really hope that we get more rain into the mountains, because this is an area that is used to having a lot of summertime rain, and we've been pretty dry, so it'd be great to switch that up. Speaking of pretty dry, places that are supposed to be pretty dry out here in the Southwest, still dealing with a lot of moisture. I think that is the upper levels getting stuck in this like big banding of tropical moisture coming up through here. Really from Alberto, the moisture has been going like that. So that is not the typical shape. This new system that comes in, we are going to reset things and yeah, look at this crazy storm that's happening out in Nevada. That is desert states. Pretty typical here. Looking at a flash flood warning here in Salisbury, Maryland. And we got special marine warnings for gusts, gales out on the ocean. So if you are looking to have a nice weekend getaway there, be safe. Got a lot of power outages here in the Northeast. Quite interesting there. Then let's go now and look at our global weather here. Meteo tsunami was yesterday. 2-foot water rise occurred on the beach, and this is when there's a tsunami, not due to seismic stuff, but due to due to the weather, due to the air weather, not the rock weather. Minor meteo tsunami occurred at beaches in Ludington and Holland. Yeah, we got a 2-foot water rise. That is pretty significant. Then we also have wildfires. We've got rapidly growing wildfires in Oregon, causing evacuations. We've also got wildfires raging in California, and authorities are urging people to stay inside because the air quality is so bad. So, yeah, the Oregon wildfire is looking really gnarly, kind of apocalyptic scenes. Really sad out there. It should be a very temperate rainforest environment, but when they don't get enough rain, like when the rain goes to the Four Corners region instead of to the Pacific Northwest, this is what we end up with. So let's actually take a look at our rainfall totals recently. Let's see. So there are multiple different wildfires, so there's lots of different areas here. Let's get them loaded using the ArcGIS, and we're in fire warning weather conditions. It's wild how Nevada is getting both flooding and wildfires. Not right now. Okay. So, there are wildfires near Los Angeles, of course. This area is a bit more contained, but lots of things burning near the post-fire incident. All of these little dots you see here are individual wildfires, and the larger the dot, the larger the wildfire. Some of them have mapped borders, like the post-fire incident or the road incident. Everything that is yellow here is recent within 24 hours. So all around LA, there's a bunch of wildfires. Pretty much everywhere in California, you're not too far from a fire. There's a really large one that is contained, but still very large and actively burning. The Sites incidents. Also near Santa Rosa, they got the Point incident. And there's a controlled burn up here that is not scary. We got new wildfires popping up daily, though. These are the Oregon wildfires. One of the biggest ones is up here. It's 90% contained, but we're at over 1,000 acres burning. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new fires within the last very big yet. Just one north of Bend, Oregon. The Rainbow MF incident. I'm a rainbow motherfucker. in national incident 1 year, and then 7. So yeah, where isn't there a wildfire is a better question. There's also wildfires burning actively, large ones in all 4 of the 4 corners states. And then these are little thermal anomalies, even in the deep south. This is not usually wildfire country, but because we have the heat dome and such a large high pressure system set up over the southeastern United States recently, this area is really dried out and turned into a tinder box, a powder keg, and looks like Alabama is popping off with these fires. Not very well contained either. So yeah, California, where are the wildfires? Well, I think there are some near LA and San Francisco, but really look at all these dots. They're pretty much everywhere. And then these warnings right here are red flag warnings for wildfires likely due to the weather conditions. Fire weather watch and red flag watches. Just guffawed. Not ideal when my kids are sleeping, but I can't help myself. Well, you're allowed to laugh here. That's, if you can't. Yeah, where isn't there a fire? Let's take a look at where the rainfall has been falling, and then we'll take a look at our temperatures, and you'll be able to see why. Look at that. Like 0 rainfall on the whole Pacific coast. A bit in the past 24 hours in the Midwest. As we look at 72-hour precipitation analysis, still barely any in California and Oregon. That's why they're on fire. Really, really dry with really high temperatures, just really drying out that landscape, making it good tinder. Missouri is kind of the hot spot for rain. Fortunately, nobody's gotten too flooded. Florida is looking at a lot of rainfall, but not. And in the past 68 hours, we think this will still show. Do you guys ever, this province in Canada, this little water feature looks like a smirk, like a little smile that's going like, it makes me happy to think about the geography smiling at you, going, doing a little winky face. That makes maps less scary when you're like, oh, everything's on fire and flooding. Just look at the little smiley faces in the geography. Makes me feel better. Let's take a look at our observed temperatures, and then this will make a lot of more sense. Yeah, look, I mean, no rainfall and really high temperatures. Now, this is fortunately not as bad as we've seen this year. Thank goodness that this heat dome is on its way out. We're setting up into more mild conditions, but still, Southwest is burning up, even while they are getting lots of rainfall in certain places. The places that aren't getting rainfall are getting wildfires. So that's what's happening there. Let's take a look at our global, let's look at Zoom Earth and see what our global rainfall is like. Precipitation. I don't know why they don't have all the wildfires on this one, but they don't seem to. Let's see. We've got Invest 94L probably headed out to sea. Then we've got an Invest 5L Peninsula in 94 5L, I think, is the most classical tropical system that we've seen this year, with starting all the way out in the mid-Atlantic region. That is when hurricanes really can form, is when they form out here and have a long time to grow before they get to land. And we did have it's funny that we have a hurricane brewing out here, because we did have a earthquake at the mid-Atlantic ridge out here today. As we move over between Iceland and the British Isles, we're looking at like a little localized circulation center, looking pretty healthy. We're also looking at a lot of typhoon season, or monsoon season is here in India, and with that are local typhoon developments. So they are finally cooling off a little bit, but that is only because it's the rainy season. Invest 98W down here in the Philippines looks like it might have some chances, but maybe not too good of a chance to develop well. We've also got these nice oscillations forming out in the northern Pacific, giving me propagation of circulation soon. We're going to see our normal pattern come back for a little bit, because after that Alberto came in, it really fucked up the whole moisture transport system around the United States, and we've been trying to get back what we're used to ever since. So this is what we're working with. I really hope that these circulations move into the Pacific Northwest and help out those firefighters, the wildfire firefighters out in Oregon. You don't like to see prison labor anywhere, but you especially hate to see it when they gotta fight these fires in 110 plus degree weather. That sucks. Let's look at our temperatures actually. Maybe the load for me for some reason. Let's go to, oh, here, it's loading. Okay. So yeah, you see India is finally cooling down a little bit. It's only 94 degrees, but Pakistan in their lower elevations are looking at 107. The Saudi Arabian Peninsula is hot as ever, and this is during the Hajj, the annual pilgrimage to Mecca. It just happens that due to the lunar calendar, everyone's supposed to take that pilgrimage right now in the middle of a huge heat wave, so pray for everybody out there. In Oman, we're looking at 111, 112 degrees. Really sucks. But very mild conditions in Europe. Some relatively mild conditions in the United States after we saw that big heat wave. Maybe people will finally cool off a little bit. Let's go now to check out our Schumann resonances, and I'm going to look at the Heart Math Institute as well. You're near Sacramento County, and the fires haven't affected your air quality yet. Well, I'm glad they haven't affected you yet. It really could affect you when the winds shift. So let's take a look at, I'm sorry, I don't want to distract from the update, but I do want to go back and take a look at here. I'll show you the winds and of if and when the winds are pooling in the valley regions and then blowing over into Southern California and Nevada. So you're probably good around Sacramento County right now, especially because we've got this strong wind coming down the Pacific coast. That is probably keeping the wildfire smoke at bay from you in the Sacramento County area. But it would only take one wind shift to blow it your way. So thankfully, it looks pretty clear right now. It doesn't look like the winds are going to shift to blowing wildfires towards you anytime soon. All right, let's look at our global coherence data. We're looking at our Schumann resonances power as observed from 6 different stations all over the world. Let's see what they got. Okay, while it's loading, I'll go to Tomsk. Looks like Tomsk hasn't had any big thunderstorms. Okay, so past 2 days, you can't see it on this calendar, but right before, about 24 hours before, we saw the same thing, a big spike in their evening time around the setting sun time. So big that it knocked out the observing instruments and they had to get reset. Sometimes this happens because there's a data error, or sometimes this happens if the readings are so high that it sets the baselines wrong. Then since then we saw this weird pattern around mode 1 and 2, like looking like voices again, looking like talking. Then we're seeing some more regular type Schumann 1.5, like between mode 1 and mode 2 resonance. Let's see what our amplitudes got up to with that, because the first one on Tuesday got up to 70. Yeah, back up to 77 in our amplitude. Really high. I mean, 38 for mode 4, that is huge. There's a lot of power being transferred from our ionosphere to the ground, usually via lightning, but not always. Let's see what our HeartMath Institute isn't showing much. Let's see about the spectrogram calendar. Yeah, I don't know why this hasn't wanted to load for me very well lately. Forbidden. You don't have access to the page. So it's looking pretty bright in a lot of spots. Let's now look at our magnetosphere. While this plays, I'm going to go get a sip. You guys can check the outfit check. I never stand up on camera, but you'll be able to see the full fit. I got my space pants on. Coming back. Okay. Magnetosphere winds look pretty calm. So that ion precipitation event must have been caused by something other than solar wind, because they look pretty steady here. Let's see what our density looks like. Oh, density looks like we're missing our lens. So maybe actually the precipitation events, because we're missing this big lens gap. We've got stay hydrated, folks. I say as I'm probably dehydrated. Okay, then let's look at our, okay, look at this. Look, very high pressure, and we're missing our density shield, so that probably is the cause of all these precipitation events. But this gets me excited to go to our solar weather. Remember, this is in nanopascals, so it's not a very high pressure when we see it at its highest readings. Let's go to Space Weather Live. Yeah, makes sense. I lived on the east coast of San Francisco Bay during the back-to-back fire seasons of 2017 to 2020. Anything from Napa area would nail us, and anything between Sierras and us too. Yeah, our prevailing winds have been a little fucked up this summer due to such a weird tropical season. Our normal exchange between the subtropical air masses and the tropical air masses they're not moving in the right directions. Fortunately, that means that maybe some parts of California are being spared from the wildfire smoke, while others keep getting clobbered by it. All right, so we had quite a few CMEs here on the 24th. The 24th I did a broadcast, so that was that beautiful one. Go to the 25th. Went from 29 to 38, so like 10 coronal mass ejections yesterday, one of which had a partial corona. Beautiful. Look how large that big, and it looks like an S. Hold on. Do you see here? Do you see that S shape? That's gorgeous. Look how beautiful this is. Sometimes I'm like, I don't even want to interpret what nature is doing. I just want to sit here and be in awe of the glory, the sheer beauty of what we can observe about the waveforms. It's so pretty. So pretty. Looking like a damn yin-yang out here. Taoism was right. Then on the 26th, we only had 5 coronal mass ejections, none of which were partial halo events. No noteworthy space weather currently. Old sunspot region 3664 returns with an M9.3. Yeah, if you didn't see my Monday episode, this probably would have been a 6 if it was more directed, or an X if it was more directed to us. Back on the sun with a vengeance. And I believe this is, yes, 3723. It is now a beta gamma delta type sunspot region. Doesn't look too complex right now. I kind of disagree with the way that they labeled these. I think these should be one sunspot group, but I digress. I'm not a helioseismologist. Solar protons don't look like they're going up too much, which is good, because I personally feel huge effects when solar protons are elevated. And looks like all of our M-class flares from a few days ago have gone back down. See if GOES 18 has any. No, there's a big data gap on the 25th. That's also the time when we had a big data gap in the Schumann resonances from Tomsk-Gresha. So I wonder what's going on there. Our baseline does seem to be decreasing, which I think means that we are gearing up for a new big round of X flares. Pull the slingshot back and lower our X-ray flux before it goes. Ooh, there's a forum post about noctilucent clouds. We never talk about that here. But noctilucent clouds are nocturnally lucent clouds. These are nighttime clouds that are bright and lit up. They are a phenomenon that's extremely rare. This happens from very, very, very high in like stratospheric level clouds catching rays that get refracted through the atmosphere. So they light up like it's a daytime cloud while the rest of the sky in the location looks like it's nighttime. And this is all due to the refraction of light in the atmosphere. It's a really cool phenomenon. I'm glad they brought it up there. Let's see if we had any auroral activity in the past 2 days. I didn't see much. Looks like we forecast possible KP5 on Friday and Saturday. I'll have to take a look at what our models are showing for that. Yeah, we didn't have anything higher than a 3. Let's see what WSA Enlil is saying. If they've modeled any bursts coming towards us, because why else would there be a KP5 forecasted? Our last burst went off to Mars. This one, okay, that one is still, okay, so this is from our new region, our familiar 3664 region. Going off that way, not looking like it should do anything here, but I don't know. Okay, what is this? What is this little bump? Let's see. The SWPC has a slightly different model of prediction. And yeah, they do have a burst coming for us. Kind of a 1-2 punch. There's looking at per second. Not a huge solar storm, but I can definitely see why they're forecasting KP5 soon. Let's see what our stars say about that, though. What do the planetary motions have to say about this potential new space weather? Okay, so we're looking at a slightly happier chart than we have been seeing the past few weeks, honestly. It's currently a Mercury day and a Saturn hour. We started broadcasting during a moon hour, but just barely. Usually I like to start when it's the same day and hour planetary ruler, but I got home late tonight. So we've got Moon in Pisces here, conjoining Saturn in Pisces. That is, both of those are sextile to Mars in Taurus, which is sextile to Venus in Cancer. So that means Venus in Cancer is trine to this Moon Saturn conjunction. I love Pisces, Taurus, Cancer collaboration. I think it makes feelings and emotions flow very well. But I think combining the Moon and Saturn here is really going to show us both emotional boundaries and the constructive power of our physical bodies and emotions. This is maybe finding your boundaries, like pushing your body's boundaries to the limits and seeing what you can handle, but also maybe seeing the strength of your physical body along with weakness because it's in Pisces. Mars in Taurus also makes me think about pushing your body to the limits, kind of the beast of burden sign. And then Cancer, there's a mommy energy, there's a HBIC energy that is really inspiring you to do this. You want to be better. Like the worthiness of some. We're still sitting with a Jupiter in Gemini, which I think is why we've got so many weird stories about food coming out. Food insecurity is only going to increase during Jupiter in Gemini's transit. It's going to get way worse once Uranus is in Gemini, but fortunately we still have Uranus in Taurus. That is, I think, looks like, I mean, practically Neptune and Pluto are practically making an aspect to each other. I think we're almost at the sextile aspect of those, so we can really say the outer limits and the lowest depths. Neptune being like the lowest depths of the deep ocean, the big mystery of the deep, and like what if underwater is more scary than outer space. Pluto in Aquarius is very outer space. Neptune in Pisces is very depths of the oceans. I feel like there are more stories to come between these two about aliens and monsters from both the outer reaches and the inner depths. Probably more disclosure narratives, honestly, if you've been keeping up with that whole news cycle. Probably more disclosure narratives to come as, I think, as Mars aspects Uranus. I'm expecting more discoveries about maybe things living under the ice caps, things living really deep down, maybe electrical entities. I know this sounds really crazy, but like, I'm getting a vibe that there's electrical entities that live in the deep ocean that I also still feel like we don't understand the full power of water. Water itself is a highly conductive electrical medium, and I don't think that we understand the significance is yet. And we have a lot of shocking hoys, and it feel like we're water-based life forms, and nobody's given that the honor it deserves. We got Mercury also squaring Chiron in Aries, Mercury in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries, two cardinal signs, two very action-oriented, taking charge kind of signs, but this might have to do with when you speak your mind in a way that is a little too headstrong and it might get you into trouble. It also could manifest great things. Cancer is a great manifestation sign. This is also the first sun sign season where we haven't had a proper stellium since Capricorn season. All of the solar passages since Capricorn season have had at least 4 planets in that sign at a time. And now we're in Cancer with only 3 planets at a time. It started out really strong with a Venus-Mercury conjunction, but now everyone's all spread out. It doesn't really feel like a stellium. It doesn't feel very powerful. I feel like we're going to have a really good, powerful Cancer vibe once the moon gets to Cancer and we have our new moon in Cancer this year. I think that new moon is also going to be around the time that Mars books it to being within orb of Uranus. Mars is almost back to the area where the big Jupiter-Uranus conjunction of earlier in the year took place. So that, I think, is unfortunately going to be a really martial time, a big clash point, a big political upset. Finally popping off. I am also a little scared of that. I think that just keep hyping up this Mount St. Helens news cycle. And I don't think Mount St. Helens is the one to look at. I think there are other things, like possibly with all of the with Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, I'm getting that there will be an undersea mount explosion and possibly tidal, not necessarily a tidal wave, but like there's gonna, I feel like this is gonna be an undersea volcano that has ripple effects onto land. We've also continuously seen this place in California called the Geysers getting bigger and bigger quakes. So I wonder if that area, the Geysers, California, is going to be a bigger player coming up. Cancer is squaring the nodes until late this year. That is also a really good point. This means that our new moon, when our new moon in Cancer happens, is going to be at the northernmost point of the moon's cycle, meaning northernmost in the northern hemisphere. When a place is square the nodes, it's either at the southernmost or northernmost place in the moon's orbit. And after it passes a north node, that means it's ascending into the northern position. So this coming new moon in Cancer is going to be at the most northern point in the moon's orbit. This is probably going to be earth-shaking, and I mean that quite literally. I really do feel like there are happen is going to be big deal. That's when Mars will move into that orb with Uranus. That's also around the time of the new moon. July 4th this year is going to be a little crazy. I don't say that with glee. It's just probably going to be quite a time. Okay. Now, let's move on to getting a reading from the cards. And lately, I have been using my Wild Unknown Tarot deck instead of my other three, and I've been really enjoying this deck in particular. Has a personality of not holding back, kind of not being afraid to say what everyone's thinking. It's a little more mean than my Hollow Tarot deck, but I like that. It also has an interpretation book that doesn't read reversals, but I like to read reversals because it's important to know whether it's an inward or a direction. So let's get the Wild Unknown out here. And with each one, I show you my crystal I have with it, because I believe that every plant and deck of cards deserves a little rock friend. So this is the little rock friend that I have with this deck. It's very pretty. Hold on, let me see if I can show you against the light. Can I? Yeah, I can hold this up. Yeah, look how it's so thin and beautiful that you can see right through it. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece of labradorite. Also, this is my bookshelf. I'm to my welcome to my world. This is my bookshelf. Yeah, it's got a lot of crazy shit. Just like my brain. Oh, that's your mother-in-law's favorite tarot deck? I love that. This is, I think this is the first deck I bought myself. Most decks I have been gifted to me, but I bought this one before I knew you were supposed to have them gifted to you. Also, very ASMR content. Good stuff. I also like that it has such a nice little carrying case. I feel so fancy. I use it. Okay, hello. What is the vibe coming in from every realm beyond what we've already talked about on the show? What's the weather report from the spheres beyond what we see with the scientific method? Thank you for your honesty. This is not just for me either, so don't drag just me and leave everyone else out of it. Please tell me what the vibe is for everyone right now. What's the energy we're experiencing? I would like 3 cards, please. We have got I'm actually going to look up a reversal for this one because I don't pull this one in reverse. That sounds like a humble brag when I tell you which card it is, but first we got the 10 of Cups in reverse, and that's why I'm saying it sounds like a humble brag to say I don't get it in reverse very often, because it is such a beautiful, abundant card that I feel like my higher self is constantly trying to tell me, you are enough and you have so much. But in reverse, Biddy Tarot is saying this is disconnection, misaligned values, struggling relationships. So in the upright orientation, we're looking at divine love, blissful relationships, harmony, alignment. I think of this as emotional abundance. So this is maybe an emotional abundance of challenges or things we can grow from. Really, Cancer, really giving me Cancer, Mercury square Chiron. This is what that feels like. I think it's such a pretty interpretation of this card in this deck, because in the Rider-Waite deck, it's a rainbow in the sky. This means I think that we've got some work to do on inner prosperity. Maybe we're not really connecting with our guides, like we know they're there, but we're not enough or taking the time to listen to them. There is some, because we have the Star upright as our next card. The Star, I want to read you the entry from the Wild Unknown, because this one really lays it down quite beautifully. The Star is a very, they're all esoteric, but very inward, psychological, instinctive, kind of like, it's the Aquarius card. It's the transcendence, vibes, waveforms connected to life forms in other star systems. Like, remember that you are a star seed kind of person card. But it's in there with the moon and the sun. As opposed to moon and sun, you have the star. Let's see. Here's it. Yeah, here we go. So in this interpretation from Ken Kranz, we have the Star. Home, hope, peace of mind. Standing outside on a dark night, you gaze up at the stars and sense glimmers of wonder and hope. Even though you can't find concrete answers to life's many questions up there in the sky, you can't help but feel comforted and renewed. Such is the energy of the Star card. It is not about actions or situations. It is simply about connecting to the part of you that is hopeful and serene. This force will bring light back into your life and infuse you with positivity. A lovely card. So, I don't know if you've ever fallen in love with the night sky or had a religious experience where you felt like a beloved was calling you from the night sky, but I feel like that's this, and maybe that's how we get this to be upright again, is we need to get a little bit more in contact with that part of us that likes to go outside and talk to the night sky. it has so much to teach us. We came from stars. We are star stuff. There's a lot that we can do with this. Then our final card we've got is the Mother of Wands or Queen of Wands in the upright position. She is fiery. She's the HBIC. She knows what's up. So what I was talking about in our astrology update is like, yeah, we feel like we have to do some work to improve or to impress this lady, this energy. But sometimes what you find along the way is that you are this energy. You thought you were doing things to impress this one, and all along you are guarding your eggs, and that's a wand and guarding her eggs. Usually see kind of visual, but also kind of like that cosmic egg where the snake is wrapped around the egg. Let's see. Mother of Wands in this it's just so, to me, it's so the girl you're trying to impress, but not like a girl that you're trying to hit on, just like a lady whose approval you really want. You must be hella geeky. Yes, I am. I use tarot cards to forecast the weather, so I don't know what else you want from me. Mother of Wands, attractive, domestic, vibrant. The Mother of Wands is a vibrant woman and happy mother. Family comes first in her world. She's very protective of it and is the dominant parent within the home. Though proud and determined, she has enough grace and beauty that you'd hardly notice her forceful nature. Oftentimes, she has overcome great pain or trauma in her life. It's important not to get on her bad side. So, all three of these cards together, the vibe that's coming in is, I think we're trying to force it too hard. I think we are trying to force abundance to please this character, when really what we need to do is look within, get more in contact with our guides, get more in contact with the night sky, our intuition, the things that make us happy, the thing that makes us feel abundant in life. I know the thing that makes me feel most abundant in life is when I go outside and remember that I am an organic being the same way that the flowers and trees are. So all my self-hate is kind of dumb. Would I expect a tree to hate themselves like that? Would I expect a flower to hate itself into blooming? No, I would not. We need to remember that we are little organic earth beings right now, even though we may be what people call star seeds. We may be made of materials that came from the cosmos. We are abundant, eternal souls having an earthly experience right now. I think that's what taints our vision. That's what makes us think. Maybe because we've seen the Mother of Wands character suffer and the prosperousness she's brought forth from her suffering. But, you know, you don't have to be the tortured artist. You can just use the power of the violence done to you as a fuel, but that is not the only fuel you have to use as an artist whose canvas is your life. And if you have a hard time trusting that or trusting yourself, then trust the universe. That's how you're actually going to not just win the approval of, but make the Mother of Wands in your life and inside of yourself feel whole, accepted, and valued. Now, this is a very, very Cancer season reading, I feel. I also want to come back to the illustration on this card. I think it's so beautiful how they have 5 cups that all pour off their own color and 5 cups that receive all of the other colors. And when it's in the upright position, you have the segmented colors all coming down and mixing in each person. Maybe like this is each person with all of their chakras. But when we have this in reverse, we are trying to do the opposite. We are trying to force all of our complexities to go into neat little containers. And that is not organic. That is not what an organic being of the earth does. That's why the flow isn't flowing. We need to stop trying to segment ourselves, figure out what stream goes to what area, and just remember that we take in all energies and synthesize them into the beautiful rainbow of a person that we are. I know it's hard for me. I say all this stuff as a read to myself, and I told you at the beginning of this, that's why I like this deck, because it always drags me. Yeah. Claim it and actually do your fucking shit. I feel the pressure to step up, not pressure bad way, but pressure good way, to step up and name what I want out of this world, how I want to see it happen. Really, all I can think of that I want out of this world right now is I'm so grateful for you guys. I'm so grateful I get to talk to you guys every night, and I want your lives to be better from this podcast, but like also I just want your lives to be more abundant and prosperous in general, so that we can go out and propagate that vibe into the world. Sounds a little culty when I say it that way, but like, no, I don't mean it like that. I just really want our power to flow in our highest alignment. I feel like this Cancer season has not dealt its heaviest blow yet, and we've got something lurking. There is some kind of weird, deep thing lurking in this season that hasn't gotten here yet. And we need to be as aligned and healthy as possible going into whatever that new energy is going to be. I've been trying to channel recently. I'm only channeling for myself, and I'm not doing it as part of this channel yet, because I feel like I don't know if it's the right time yet, but I think I might eventually start adding a channeled message. But this is very much showing me like, I think that's my next area of growth. Personally, reflecting upon these cards is you stop holding back and actually put the discipline in to practice this new method every day, so that I can help y'all expand through whatever messages I have, but also seeing somebody learn the new craft. I feel like we're all going to grow together and learn to channel together if you don't already channel. It's a lot easier than you think it is. Yeah. After I met Lee Harris last week, I was just like, oh my God, why haven't I been doing this the whole time? Actually, I'm going to read you the first channeled message I ever. So my day job, I'm a lighting designer. I actually don't know. I think that my higher self is loud enough that I haven't heard from archangels or aliens too much. I fuck with Jesus. I don't know. I don't know, but in a new way, in a Christ consciousness way. This is the first channeling I ever did was a couple weeks ago. When Lee Harris came to the job that I lighting design at, and I got to lighting design for him, and he loved my work. The biggest help for expansion and abundance is witnessing folks living and growing in abundance. So as you get yours, you give us keys. Yes, 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 yes. And that's why I want to know from you guys. I want to learn from your abundance as well. This is like a reciprocal relationship where I need community with people who are growing in their path. To like, I really want community like that. Anyway, can I share my first channeled message? It's very confusing. I don't really know what it means, but it's a pretty image. The prompt was, what does my soul want to tell me today? And what I said was, a green elephant wanders through the forest without searching for anything. It could drink from the cool, pink, crystalline streams of consciousness, or take a relaxing nap in the shade. Yet still, this jade and emerald elephant wanders peacefully through the richness of the forest. Why is an elephant in the forest? Aren't they supposed to be on the Sahara? I don't know. But imagining a pretty little happy green elephant in the forest and a pink river of crystals, that's beautiful. I don't know. I think, I don't really talk to I don't really talk to entities other than my future self and my ancestors yet. And by the other side that are still haven't learned all that they have to tell me. Thank goodness your higher self is trustworthy. Those other jokers can be problematic at times. Christ consciousness is good too. Yeah, thank you. I am hesitant to open up my channel to entities that I don't fully energetically trust. So I do tend to keep my boundaries pretty high in the other dimensions. I tend to, maybe that's why I don't get as many downloads as rapidly as other people. I don't trust like that. I don't, it takes me a while to trust entities. I don't think I've ever really trusted an entity other than my higher self, my dead relatives, and the gods like Christ consciousness that have proven their worth in my life through getting me through some shit. Elephants live in the jungle in Southwest Asia. Oh, okay. Maybe I need to go to Southwest Asia. And Jade is there too. A gorgeous green elephant in the jungle just vibing. Feels like one of the highest expressions of the Taurus sun. Yes! Yes! Awesome! That's me. Yeah. Sometimes we get stereotyped as lazy, but maybe I'm just an elephant moving so slowly that I gather moss. Yeah, my Mercury is in Taurus too. That slows things down for good reason. You know, Cher had a Taurus Mercury conjunct sun, just like me, and she's got a voice. That's what makes me feel like I'm supposed to do something with my voice. I just don't. I'm finding out through resonance what it's supposed to be. Oh yeah, Southeast Asia, not Southwest Asia. But yeah, I get you. Yeah. I value you guys being here so much, and I learn from you and your spiritual science, the processes of trial and error that you go through, and the successes and failures that make us the beautiful human waveforms that we are. So I encourage you to share your own channeled messages and values about the world or perceptions of the day's weather in the comments. Like, please let me know what the weather report is from your place. Yeah, that's what I mean. I want to know the vibe, weather, where you're writing from. Tell me what's going on. I think we are the most complex weather sensing instruments on the planet. The human body is a weather station, and we sense so much data all the time, and we call it emotions, but we are truly sensing a lot of atmospheric data at all times, and I want to know what the vibe is where you're at. So let's share with each other. You don't just have to share with me. You can talk to each other in the comments too. I would love if we grow together. I think we already are. So yeah, thanks for being here. This has been another ASMR edition of Today's Weather Tonight. I just don't want to go. I almost don't. I don't want to leave you guys. I like talking to you so much, and I'm glad when you get to be here for the live. Agreed, says the tiny scar. Yeah. Low pressure systems coming in now. I really did break my leg. One time, I broke my leg as I was starting my stand-up comedy career, which is a joke too good that I can't even tell it on stage. They say break a leg, and I literally did. Yeah. I think I'm going to use this new deck for a while. Not that the other decks haven't been serving us, but I think I need to reconnect with the tarot with reading interpretations of it every time rather than just getting a channeled vibe. I think that's going to serve all of us well if I get back in with the more established meanings of the cards. So I think I'm going to use this sassy ass deck for a while. So get ready to get dragged by these fuckers. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to go. I think it's also because it's so fucking hot lately that I don't want to leave or stop doing anything during the nighttime because it finally feels good outside in the nighttime. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could feel like this all day. I don't want it to be a hot day that I procrastinate going to sleep because I just like the vibes better at night. In the winter, I'm like, oh, it's just because I feel nocturnal because it's the winter. And then in the summer, I'm like, I just also feel nocturnal. But maybe I'm just your midnight meteorologist. Okay, I think that's it for tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you all so much. It's been another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. I will see you tomorrow night. Thanks for being here. Bye.